Welcome back to Power Cosmic. In this episode, we'll be covering CryptoBasics. This is an area that doesn't get a lot of attention, and it's a little bit difficult sometimes to learn all of the basic information you have to have in order to be successful in the crypto space. We'll be covering the need-to-know topics, things I believe everyone that is involved in crypto should know. My intent is to boil these things down to their very basic core, meaning I'm going to
Avoid complex explanations and make it as simple as possible.
so that those that don't really have understanding of these complex things can relate them to something that's more understandable. But understand that this topic isn't the easiest thing to cover. So with that, let's get into it. The first thing to know is that crypto requires some technical knowledge. What I mean by that is it's not user-friendly from the perspective of anybody can use it. In other words, it hasn't reached a point where it's a single button push kind of situation. You have to have some understanding of what's going on to take the proper actions. So that means there's oddities such as having multiple types of crypto and understanding where these cryptos are possible to deposit. For example, we have Bitcoin and we have Ethereum. Those are the two most prominent cryptocurrencies out there right now. And they're not compatible, meaning you can't put an Ethereum in a Bitcoin wallet and you can't put a Bitcoin in an Ethereum wallet. You have to know the difference. To add more complexity to the problem is there are wallets that will allow you to put both cryptos in the same wallet, but it depends on which particular wallet you're using. So those type of little technical details, people have to be aware of those and understand how to deal with them. The next topic is the lack of a help desk. What I mean by that is crypto is not a centralized company. There's no one you can call to help you when it comes to interacting with the blockchain. The blockchain essentially lives on its own. It's governed by a set of rules and it will execute based on those rules. So if you make any sort of transactions, if you decide you're going to send money or crypto from one address to another and a mistake is made, there's no way to change that. And the reason for that is the way the blockchain is designed, crypto is designed to be what they call immutable. That means once a transaction has been made, there's no way to change that transaction. It's final. So this is something that causes a lot of grief and headaches, and people must be aware of it. This leads me into the next topic of seed phrase. If you lose your seed phrase, you've lost all your funds. No ifs, ands, or buts. I think most of us have heard the story of the man that lost $220 million worth of Bitcoin. He basically lost his seed phrase, and that was it. Many people wonder why this is the case. And it just has to do with the way cryptocurrency was designed. It was designed with the idea of being a trustless system where people can interact with the ledger and be able to account for all transactions. The only way to do that is to ensure that there's no sort of way or back door into the system where someone can change the ledger. And the whole system is built on this premise that no one is allowed to make any changes and there should be no back doors to allow someone to try to find a way to overwrite these things. So that's something that is a double-edged sword. It's good in the way that you're going to be guaranteed that you're going to have accurate transactions, but it's bad in the case that a transaction mistake has been made. Given that fact, be very careful with your seed phrase. Make sure you store it in a safe location and make sure you don't lose it, because that's really the most important thing, keeping track of your currency. The next topic I want to cover has to do with crypto itself. Crypto, most people understand it to be a currency, but actually crypto is based on a technology called blockchain, or blockchain is the particular technology that they're trying to produce in order to have this trustless system. A trustless system meaning that anybody can interact with the system and not require a third party to verify whether or not they're a good actor. We have a consensus mechanism in the blockchain which makes sure that happens. You can look into the blockchain consensus process. That is a very technical discussion, and there's actually multiple ways consensus can be managed and reached depending on which logical strategy is being used. So just be aware that this is kind of the basis of the blockchain.
To boil it down, reaching consensus really just means having a situation where multiple parties can come to the correct agreement or decision even when there is a bad actor involved, and this is done through this mechanism.
The next topic I wanted to cover has to do with blockchain technology. The term you might have heard most used is crypto, and that's really short for cryptocurrency, which is also short for blockchain. So these terms actually aren't the same thing. They all have some very specific meanings behind them, and it's important to understand the differences. So the first thing, the word crypto really has to do with the idea of encryption or cryptography. This technology is used to essentially hide the information, a way to keep people from being able to see what was actually recorded into the blockchain.
Let's take a moment to look at this word blockchain. Blockchain is actually made up of two words, right? So there's a block and there's a chain. So the block is what represents the payload being the data, the information that you're trying to store on the blockchain. So that payload is what you're trying to protect and what you're trying to find. Imagine the block as a box that has any number of things that you may want to save. And you want to make sure that when you go back to the box has exactly what it had before. And this is the thing that's important. And to find that box in the future, you have to have a way to find it. So there's a thing called an address, and that address is what gets you to the box. And the way that this is done in blockchain is you have a series of addresses that are chained together by links. So each of these links are essentially a cryptographic hash that links one box to the previous box. And that's why it's called blockchain. It's these properties of blockchain, being decentralized, trustless, and permissionless, that make it powerful. Decentralized avoids a single point of failure. No one person can take it down. Trustless allows you to trade with confidence, knowing your payload will be safe and open for anyone to use. This technology has opened up many new possibilities, and the creation of new services has exploded. The potential to greatly improve and disrupt existing technologies is huge. This is why so many in the know are excited. It also means investing in crypto will be a wild ride. Many don't have a good in-depth understanding and are just chasing the money. This will cause a lot of volatility in the crypto market. The best way to prepare is to be informed and understand the projects you're investing in. It's my goal to help educate and bring that understanding to my viewers. Please take the moment to click on the like button. It will motivate me to produce new content. Please take the time to provide me feedback. I'd like to know what topics interest you the most. Until then, see you in the next episode. Peace.